So this is what we want to do. This Wednesday, just a couple of announcements. This Wednesday, we start back Bible study. I need everybody in Bible study. Everybody. Where?
Bible study.
I said the thing is, if you have not put your lunch time on the lunch form, please make sure you let me know, because I can't show up for your lunch if you don't tell me. Now, watch this. If I show up at your school, you need to let me know, put the time. Because some of y'all don't put the time, and then I show up, and then I miss your lunch. Okay? Did I ask for a conversation right here? I did. So shh. Alright, so if y'all have like 3 lunches, don't just put the first lunch that is in your lunch. Put your lunch time so that I know. Alright? Because I don't know what time you go to lunch. Alright? Okay? Alright, yes sir. Huh? Be quiet. Be quiet. Father, throw something at you. Because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get funny. Be quiet. He didn't.
That's what you did.
April Fools, stop. Alright? So I need everybody to bring your $10 in, bring your $10 in, bring your $10 in, please, next Sunday. Or within the next couple of weeks. Alright? So next Saturday, this coming Saturday, rather. What's the Saturday coming?
Homecoming.
19th, they'll have an ACT boot camp. If you're in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, you need to come to the ACT boot camp. It is what? Free. 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, if you didn't make a 36 on your ACTs already, then you need to be 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. All right? All right? All right?
All right.
Next Sunday, this is what we're going to do. I just decided next Sunday, this is what we're going to do. Next Sunday, I told y'all some of us are going to go over to Pleasant Valley Church next Sunday after our 11:30 service. So this is what I decided. We're going to have pizza and drinks here. If you stay, then you going. All right? So if you want to be a part of that number, it's free. I'm just going to provide y'all with some food. Now, if you decide you want to meet us over there and drive there, that's cool. But I need at least 25 people to go so that we can worship with them. And so I'm going to drive a van, and we'll probably have another van, but we'll eat here, and then we'll go over there. All right? Free food. It's from 5 to 7:30. And I think they're going to give us food afterwards as well. It's going to be a good time. All right? All right, that's it. Let's open the word. Let's pray. Let's pray. Let's pray. Y'all ready? Lord, open my eyes that I might behold thy wonderful things out of the book of the law. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right, cool. So for the last couple of days, last Sunday, we started talking about this idea of being chosen. This idea of being picked out from a group as being the one that God has hand-picked for purpose. All right? Chosen. Last Sunday, come next one, we said this. We said, you being chosen isn't based on how you look. So it's not an appearance thing. All right? We said the next thing is, when you are chosen, man will try to make you appear to be insignificant. All right? Man, you ain't nothing. You ain't going to be nothing, just like your dad. All right? But God chooses people who are typically overlooked and counted out. So everybody says you weren't going to be nothing. Those are people God picks. Those people who were not nominated as most likely to succeed. Most cutest. Those folks who didn't win homecoming queen, homecoming king. God likes to pick those people who don't like all the attention to be on them. Last thing we said is when God chooses, where you are won't determine what you'll become. Where you are won't determine what you'll become. So you could be failing out of school. You could be on the backside of a mountain, and God will find you and use you for a purpose. So God uses David as the picture of what being chosen looks like. God takes a little boy who's a shepherd boy and handpicks him to be the next king of his people. God has the capacity, the power, the wherewithal, the intentionality to pick you out of a group of everybody. You are not too small You're not unimportant that God can't use you. The only thing God requires is your availability. Now, in this room are potential CEOs, potential people who have the power and the capacity to be great. But your greatness is only determined by how available you are. So David ends up becoming king. Now watch this. I told you David took the place of who?
Saul.
Okay. I was going to say, y'all didn't remember. David took the place of Saul. Has anybody asked the question or wondered, why does David take Saul's place? Saul was a king. Saul had been picked by God to be king. Why does David end up taking his place? What happens in the life of Saul that causes Saul to miss out on what God was trying to do? And so that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at the life of Saul, how Saul was in essence picked to be king, picked by the people, approved by God, but ends up disqualifying himself. Let me tell you this. God can choose you, but you can cause yourself to miss out on what God wants to do in your life because of your failure to be obedient, because of your failure to be centered on God's purpose and God's plan for your life. You can miss out on what God wants to do in your life all because of your failure to be obedient and your failure to be focused on what God wants to do. So we're going to look at a story in 1 Samuel. Go to the next one. In 1 Samuel chapter 9, it tells the story of a young man. Saul is found. Saul is found. The Bible opens up and says that he's handsome, he's attractive, he got the shoulders, he got the look. He looks like a king. He's the type of build that you want a king to have. He's been picked and he's swole, he got the look, he's attractive and everything. His father loses his donkeys. Dad says, hey man, go find those donkeys that were lost. He leaves with a servant, he goes out to look for these donkeys, and on his way he gets too far away from home. He gets so far away from home that Saul says to his servant, hey man, we ought to go back. The servant says, man, there is a seer, a prophet, a man who speaks on behalf of God up ahead. He probably can tell us where these donkeys are. And so Saul and the servants go. They don't have much to give the king, or the seer rather. They only have a little bit of change. They take it, they give it to the change, they walk close to the city. They see a woman who is drawing water from a well, and they say, hey, where is the seer? She says, hey, he's up ahead preparing to go give a sacrifice. You might be able to catch him if you're going up ahead. So he goes up ahead. Saul and the servant, they go up ahead and they find him and they see him. And they run into him while he's coming out to give the sacrifice. The day before, this is the conversation that happens. Let's read together. 1 Samuel 9, 15 through 17. Let's read it, everybody. Now the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed to Samuel, tomorrow about this time. Wait, there's a whole class in here. Let's read. Tomorrow, about this time, I will send you to a man from the land of Benjamin. Y'all can't see? Let's try it again. Listen, I'm not for this disobedience. So if you ain't going to read, get out. Let's try it that way. I'm serious now. Let's be respectful and honor what's being requested. Verse 16, let's read it again, together again. Tomorrow, about this time, I will send to you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be prince over my people. So he says, tomorrow, Samuel says, God says to Samuel, tomorrow you're going to anoint this man. Keep reading. He shall save my people from the hand of the Philistines. For I have seen my people, because their cries has come to me. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, here is the man of whom I spoke to you. He is who shall restrain my people. So he said, check this out. This is the man that I've chosen. This is the one I've selected. Saul is going to be the next king. Keep reading. So he says to him, hey man, go up to the high place. I have you are the one that I need to spend some time with. We're going to eat together. He said, check it. He says, in the morning, I'm going to tell you what's on your mind. Samuel tells Saul, tomorrow, I'm going to tell you what's on your mind. He says, hey man, stop tripping about those donkeys. The donkeys have already been found. They're in good condition. Stay focused. He says, Israel's future is in your hands. He says, hey, stop worrying about the donkeys because Israel's future is in what?
Your hands.
Now, for you, it seems like it's just some phraseology that he's just using, but that's a significant phrase. He, in essence, is telling Saul, get ready, because you're about to be the next king. Saul, get ready. You don't need to be worried about donkeys. You have purpose. You have potential. There is a plan for your life, and that's what you need to be focused on. Now, watch this. When I was in school, there's this thing called an eraser. The ultimate objective of an eraser is when you write something down, if it is an error, you can use the eraser to what?
Erase.
To remove it. And so, have you ever seen that eraser that when you erase it really good, it could look like nothing was ever there? This is what ends up happening in this story. Saul has the gift of being king, but number one, go to the next one. My next one. The reason why he could potentially not be who God has called him to be because of how he sees himself. How I see me will determine whether God could use me. How I see me. Well, okay. Let me show it to you in the Bible. Go to the next one. Look at what Saul says. Samuel had just told you, hey, bro, you about to be it. The future of Israel is in your hands. And look at what Saul says. Let's read together. Saul answered, but I'm only. Paul, stop right there. He said what? But I'm only. Watch this thing. He says, but I'm only a what? Benjaminite, from the smallest of the Israel tribe, and from the most insignificant clan in the tribe at that. Why are you talking to me like this? He in essence says, man, I'm a nobody. I'm insignificant. I have no purpose. I have no potential. I'm small compared to everybody else. We're insignificant. We have no meaning. And guess what? Saul does this, but guess who also does this too? We do. Man, I ain't smart enough. God says you have the potential to have straight A's in your family. Man, I can't do that. You have the potential to go to college and nobody else in your family has ever been. But you say, man, I can't do that. You devalue yourself and expect everybody to deem you as being valuable. You lower yourself and call yourself insignificant and say you're not important when God has already told you great things are coming out of you. And the dangerous thing is you expect everybody else to see it in you when the one who's seen it in you speaks it on your life. You don't believe it about yourself. God says you have the potential to be great, to be a CEO, to open up your own company in college, in high school. But because you don't see value in yourself, you say, but I'm only insignificant, but I'm only small, insignificant, not worthy of being selected, not worthy of being looked at. God says, man, I'm going to let you marry the man of your dreams. But because you don't see yourself as being significant, you cancel yourself out early. You say, man, I ain't no good female, I ain't no good young lady. And you cancel yourself out for what God could potentially be trying to do in your life. Man, I can't play ball, I can't do it. You cancel yourself out from what God is trying to do. Watch this, I wrote this down. It goes like this. Never allow the way you see yourself to overpower what God is trying to do in and through you. I'm not being spiritual. Sit spiritual aside. If you cannot see it in yourself, how in the world do you expect anybody else to see it in you? So he says, check it. How I see me can determine whether I erase myself from the destiny that God has designed for me. All right? So he says, but I'm only small. I'm only insignificant. Why are you even talking to me like this? What manner of man would you even talk to me and have this conversation with me about? I'm insignificant. But not only how I see me, But my next one, go to the next one. Watch this. This is what he said. So then Samuel took a flask of oil, let's read, come on, and poured it on his head and kissed him and said, has not the Lord anointed you to be the prince over the people of Israel? And you shall reign over the people of the Lord, and you will save them from the hand of their surrounding enemies. He said, check this out, regardless of how you think of yourself, hush. Hadn't the Lord anointed you? Didn't God pick you for purpose? Did God pick you because he had a plan in mind? Did God pick you because he wanted to do something in you? Quit tripping. The Lord has anointed you, and you shall reign over the people, and the Lord will use you to save them from their surrounding enemies. How I see me can determine what God can do through me. Now watch this. Because Saul's mindset is not one of him seeing himself as being worthy, he does not perform to the level of his belief. Rather, let me say it this way. He performs to the level of what he believes in himself. So if you see yourself as being average, guess how you perform? Average. If you see yourself as being less than, guess how you perform? Less than. When you see yourself as being an insignificant young man, guess how you perform? Insignificant. Now watch this. I don't believe we get in trouble just because we get in trouble. We get in trouble because that's how we see ourselves. If you saw yourself every day I told you, my son wakes up and he says, I'm smart, I'm wise, I'm intelligent, I'm God's best. I'm a leader, not a follower. I'm a lender, not a borrower. I will be everything God has called me to be. In Jesus' name, amen. Want to know what I'm teaching my son? I'm teaching my son at 3 that he's not insignificant, that he is somebody. Not that he's black, that don't matter. That he is somebody, that he has purpose, that he has potential, that God wants to do something in and through him. He is significant. So how I see myself can determine whether God can work through me or I hinder God's purpose for my life. But that's one, how I see me. But number 2, go to the next one. Watch this. When I take things into my own hands, can determine whether I erase myself from what God's plan is for my life. All right? Taking things into my own hands will determine if God can use me. Taking things into my own hands will determine if God can use me. I'm going to show it to you in the Bible. Go to the next one. Watch this. Let's read it together. Go. Go down before me to Gilgal. And behold, I am coming down to you to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifice peace offerings. 7 days you shall wait. How many days?
7 days.
Until I come to you and show you what you shall do. Watch this, stay right here. Now, Samuel is talking to Saul. Now, watch what has to happen. The Philistine, Saul is king, has been king for 2 years. He has a son named Jonathan. Jonathan is militaristic. They end up having their troops on their sides, and Jonathan ends up killing the Philistine governor. He kills the Philistine governor, and the Philistines are what? They mad. They ready to go to war. They ready to set it up, ready to make it down, make it out, because he's killed their governor. In this case, Saul is over in Gilgal, has been instructed by the prophet, go to Gilgal. I'm coming down. Samuel says, I am coming down to you to offer burnt offerings. He says, check this, wait 7 days. Don't do nothing for how many days? 7. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to show you what to do. Keep reading. Go. He waited 7 days. The time set by Samuel. Samuel failed to show up at Gilgal, and the soldiers were slipping away right and left. So Saul took charge. Bring me the burnt offering and the peace offering. He went ahead and sacrificed the burnt offering. No sooner had he done it, Samuel showed up. Saul. So watch this. He said, wait, how many days?
7.
Wait 7 days. He said, if you wait 7 days, I'm going to roll up there and I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you what to do. He gets there. Saul gets fearful. Saul gets fearful, and watch this. He's concerned with the opinions of people. And because he's concerned with the opinions of people, he presents the sacrifice without Samuel being there. Samuel said, wait 7 days, I'm going to come help you. But Saul takes charge. He presents the offering, and no sooner than when he does the offering, guess who shows up? Samuel. Go to my next one. Watch this. Keep reading. Samuel said, what on earth are you doing? Saul answered,
When I saw I was losing my army from under me, and that you hadn't come when you said you would, and that the Philistines were poised at a big match, I said, the Philistines are about to come down on me in Gilgal.
y'all can't read? Okay, pause. Everybody stand up. Stand up right here. And stand up right here. Bye. Y'all got one or two options. Pick one. Because it's just simple. Read it. I ain't asking you to preach nothing. And y'all can explain to Dr. Pointer why y'all didn't want to participate in the message. Oh, okay. Y'all want to participate? Oh, praise the Lord. Let's go. So let's read it again. Verse 11. I'm sorry. Let's start over. And everybody's going to read because everybody's been in third grade, at least. Samuel said,
What on earth are you doing?
Saul answered, When I saw I was losing my army
from under me, and that you hadn't come when you said you would, and that the Philistines are poised at a big match, I said, the Philistines are about to come down on me in Gilgal, and I haven't yet come before God to ask you for his help. So I took off into my own hands.
Hey, bro. We need to pray. We need to pray real quick. We need to pray. Let's pray. Lord, Pastor Seapo's about to put a whole bunch of people out today. And they're going to have to explain to their parents why they got put out. So Lord, whoever wants to be an overzealous reader, help them to stop. Because his blood pressure shooting up. I'm serious. Because I feel it happening. All right? Where were we? Let's start at the Philistines.
The Philistines are about to come down on me in Gilgal.
And I haven't yet come before God asking for his help. So I took things into my own hands. So I did what?
Took things into my own hands.
And did what? And sacrificed the burnt offering. Keep going. That was foolish.
Thing to do. Said Saul, if you had kept your covenant that your God commanded.
Oh, wait, let's start off, y'all. Read too fast. That was a foolish thing to do. Samuel said to Saul, if you had kept the appointment that your God commanded, by now your God would have set a firm and lasting foundation under your kingly rule over Israel. Watch this. God said, he said, check this out. I told you to wait 7 days. But because you chose not to wait 7 days and you chose to do the sacrifice when you wanted to do it, you have the potential to be king forever. The king, the throne would have been in your family legacy forever. You would have been king, Saul. Your son Jonathan would have been king. Your grandson would have been king. Your great-grandson would have been king. Your great-great-grandson would have been king. The king would have been in your throne forever. But because you were not obedient, you decided to take things into your own hands and present the sacrifice without me being there with you. You've lost that opportunity. He says, keep reading. As it is, your kingly rule is already falling to pieces. God is out looking for your replacement right now. He says, because you chose not to do what I asked you to do, while I'm stripping you from being king, I'm giving it to somebody else. Now watch this. Ask yourself, what in your life are you choosing to do your way? God told you that to be abstinent. Man, I just want to get me some because I don't know if I'm going to get married and you go and get you some, and God told you not to. God told you to be respectful, listen to what they're telling you to do, stay on track. And because you want to do your own thing, you got off track and did your own thing, went against what God had called you to be. Listen, in this room, You could potentially be thwarting your destiny all because you want to do things your way. And we've all been there. And what have you forfeited that God had for you that you lost all because you made the decision to not listen to God? Check it. Dude could have been king forever. But because of his failure to listen and to be obedient, he ends up missing. Now watch this. God is out looking for your replacement.
Right.
When?
Right now.
Right now. This time, he'll do the choosing. When he finds him, he'll appoint him leader of his people. And all because you didn't keep your appointment with God. He said, because you didn't listen to me, man, you forfeiting everything that you could potentially have for life. All because you ain't want to listen. Now watch this. Go to the next one. Partial obedience. So the first one is, the way I see me could cause me to be erased. When I decide to do things my way, can cause me to be erased, can cause me to miss out on what God has for me or what God is trying to do in my life. But the third one is partial obedience. Understand this. Partial obedience is still disobedience. What is partial obedience? Me doing a piece of what you see. Mom said, clean your room. You make up your bed. Mom said, clean your room. That means clean your room. You take everything, you hide it in the closet. Throw it under the bed. Can I tell you this? Partial obedience is still disobedience. Reading is fundamental. Partial obedience is still, okay, I'm sure it's in the Bible. Because I like to give y'all Bible, biblical examples. Let's read. We're going to read a lot today. Go.
Samuel said to Saul, God sent me to anoint you king over his people, Israel. Now listen.
Excuse me, there are these things called commas. A comma means you take a moment to rest before you just run through them. Y'all, you don't. Be quiet.
No, you
go.
don't.
But you get out.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Let's keep going.
Now.
Let's start over. Samuel said to
Saul, God sent me to anoint you king over his people, Israel. Now, listen again to what God says. This is the God of the angel armies speaking. I am about to get even with the Amalek for ambushing Israel when Israel came up out of Egypt. Here's what you are to do. Go to war against Amalek. Put everything connected with Amalek under a holy ban.
Pause. He says what? Put everything connected with Amalek under a holy ban. No exceptions. This is to be
total destruction. Men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys, the works.
He says, let me give it to you short version. Kill everything. Just kill everything. Kill every man, every woman, every child, every infant, every cattle, every sheep, every camel, every donkey. Kill everything. That's what God says. God says, kill it. Kill it. Kill everything. Keep reading. Go to the next one. Saul. Tell him.
And prepared to go to war. 200 companies of infantry from Israel and another 10 companies from Judah. Saul marched to Amalek city and invaded the king.
Then Saul got word
to Kenites. Get out of here while you can. Evacuate the city right now or you'll get lumped in with the Amalek.
Now back the thing up. Go back one, Chris. Go back one. Let's listen. And
no exceptions. This is total destruction. Men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys, the works.
go to the next one.
Then Saul got the word to Kenites. Get out of here while you can. Evacuate the city right now or you'll get lumped in with the Amalek. Egyptian border.
He captured Agag,
king of Amalek, alive. Everyone else was killed under the terms of the holy band.
Go back to, Chris. Go back to.
No exceptions. This is the total destruction. Men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. The works.
Go to the next one. Go back. Yeah, right here.
Then Saul got word to the Kenites. Get out of here while you can. Evacuate the city right now. I'm warning you because you showed real kindness to the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt. And they did. The Kenites evacuated the place.
Go to the next one.
Then Saul.
Wait.
Everyone else.
No.
He captured
Pay attention. Pay attention.
king of Amalek, alive. Everyone else was killed under the terms of the holy band.
Pause. What's my point for making you read that? He made two exceptions. He allowed who? The Kenites to live, and he allowed Agag to live. Now, what did God say?
No, it's not.
Alright, now let's keep reading. Saul and the army made an exception for Agag and for the choice sheep and cattle. So watch this. He lets Agag leave, and they pick and choose the sheep and the cattle to which they wanted to keep. Now, God told them total destruction. God told them kill what?
Everything.
Alright? Now watch this. They didn't include
Them under the terms of the holy band. But all the rest, which nobody wanted anyway, they destroyed as decreed by the holy band.
Alright, go to the next one. I'm going to show it to you. Look at this. Read it together. Go.
Then God spoke to Samuel. I'm sorry I ever made Saul king. He turned his back on me. He refuses to do what I tell him.
So check this out. Partial obedience puts God in a place of saying this. I'm sorry I ever made Saul. I'm sorry I ever put him in the position to lead. But what happens when you operate in partial obedience? God opens the door for you to go to college free. And you don't do what God has told you to do. What happens when God says, I'm sorry I ever made them. I opened the door. I'm sorry I opened the door for them to get into college free. I'm sorry I allowed them to have that much influence. I'm sorry. What are you doing, God? Notice who's saying this. This ain't his friend. This ain't his homeboy. God says, I'm sorry I ever made you king. You put me in a position where you've gone completely against what I told you to do. I picked you, I chose you, and I knew I wanted to do something great with you. I knew I wanted to take you places. I knew I wanted to do something amazing in your life. But because of your failure to be obedient, I got to erase you. I got to find somebody else who is going to listen. Now watch this. Let's keep reading. Keep reading. Go.
Saul offended himself. What are you talking about? I did obey God. I did the job God set for me. I brought in Agag and destroyed the Amalekites under the terms of the holy band. So the soldiers saved back a few choice sheep and cattle from the holy band for sacrifice to God at Gilgal. What's wrong with that?
Go to the next one.
Then Samuel said, do you think all God wants are sacrifices, empty rituals just for show? He wants you to listen to him. Plain listening is the thing, not staging a lavish religious production. Not doing what God tells you is far worse than fooling around in the occult. Get himself.
All right. He said, check this out. God didn't want you to do all that religious stuff. God doesn't care if you come to church. But if you're not going to listen and be obedient, then you're creating a problem. He said, check this out. A cult is this idea of mythical religious experience. I'm doing something that is mysterious, something that's crazy. He says, I don't want that. He says, I want you to do one thing.
Listen.
Listen. Plain listen. I want to know that I can tell you or give you a directive and you abide by the directive I've given. He says, watch this. We're right here.
Yes.
Not doing, go ahead. Not doing what God
tells you is far worse than fooling around in the occult. Getting self-important around God is far worse than making deals with your dead ancestors. Because you said no to God's command. He said no to your kingship.
So he said, because of your failure to listen, I got to remove him. Because you didn't listen, because you weren't obedient, because you took things into you. God gave him an opportunity to do better. He did worse. He didn't make the decision to be obedient to God. Go to the next one. Saul gave
and confessed, I've sinned. I've trampled roughshod over God's word and your instructions. I care more about pleasing the people. I let them tell me what to do. Oh, absolve me of my sin. Take my hand and lead me to the altar so I can worship God. But Samuel refused. No, I cannot come alongside you in this. You rejected God's command. Now God has rejected you as king over Israel.
He says, hey man, you were more concerned about people and how they felt and what they wanted you to do. You were more concerned about pleasing them and doing what they asked you to do. And so because you were more concerned about that, Samuel says, I can't go with you. I can't go with you. I can't go with you. Go to the next one. As Samuel turned to leave, Saul grabbed his
priestly robe and put his sword off.
Samuel said, God has just
now torn the kingdom from you.
He said, check this out. Pause. While I'm taking it away from you, Saul, hey man, y'all need to stop. Both of y'all, or y'all getting put out now. Because y'all being a distraction to everybody. I'm going to leave it there, but y'all about to make me go somewhere with y'all too. He says, while I'm pulling it from you, I'm giving it to him. While I'm pulling it from you, Saul, David over here is going to get it. And I'm going to hook David up, and I'm going to allow David to experience it. I'm going to allow David to go places. Why? Because David was a man after my heart. David's motives and Saul's motives were different. He says, watch this. Samuel says, God has just now torn the kingdom from you and handed it over to your neighbor. Your neighbor is who? David. A better man than you. He says, man, you have the qualities. You have the potential. You were who I wanted. But you erased yourselves because of your failure to be obedient, your failure to let me show you and direct you and order you and help you. You chose to do it a different way. And so now I got to find somebody else. And watch it. Keep reading. Go back one. Israel, God of glory, doesn't deceive and he doesn't die. Why this? This means I'm not confused about how I feel. He says what he means, and he what?
Means what he
said. Let's keep reading. Saul tried again. I sinned,
but don't
abandon me.
Support me in your presence before our leaders and the people. Come
alongside me
as I go back to worship God.
Go to the next one. Watch it. Samuel did. He went back with him, and Saul went to his knees before God and worshiped. Then Samuel said,
Present King Agag
King Agag. Present King Agag
of Amalek to me.
Agag came, dragging his feet,
muttering that he better off dead. Samuel said, just as your sword made many women.
Sword, not sword. 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 Just as your sword
made many a woman childless, so your mother will be childless among those women. And Samuel cut Agag down in the presence of God right there in Gilgal.
So watch this. At the same time, two things happen. Saul tries to ask for forgiveness. And he says, it's too late. It's too late for you to ask for forgiveness for what you've been doing. You've made this a lifestyle of you not listening to God. You've made this a part of your system of not being obedient and heeding to the instructions that are given to you. And so because of that, you lose your spot. But here's the other piece. The person who I told you to kill, we're still going to kill him. He's got to die. Because he was supposed to die before. You're the reason why he stayed alive. And in this moment, the prophet ends up having to kill him. Is that the last one? No. Go to the last one. No. Let's read it.
Samuel left immediately for Ramah. Saul went home to Gibeah.
Ramah.
Ramah.
And Saul went home to Gibeah. Samuel had nothing to do with Saul from then on, though he grieved long and deeply over him. But God was sorry
he had ever made Saul king in the first place.
And right here, at the end of verse 35, this is where God sends Samuel to go to Jesse's house and to pick amongst 8 sons, as to which one was going to be the next king. My thing is, watch this. Some of y'all are right here. Some of y'all are right here. And God is saying this about you. God is saying, man, I'm sorry I ever made it. I'm sorry I ever gave them my opportunity. I'm sorry I ever opened the door for them to be able to do whatever it is because of their disobedience. And this is the worst place to be. Because now watch this. Saul is going to stay on the throne, but he's going to function without favor. So he's still going to be king. But he ain't going to have God's power. And that's the difference. I want to be king and have God's power. Yes, while this is being stripped from Saul, it's being given to David. David, man, you are a man after God's own heart. You have the character of God. You want to see God's people's lives transformed. And so I'm going to pick you. I'm going to get you from the backside of a desert where you're out tending the sheep because your heart and your intentions and your motives are pure. But this guy over here, he's just going to be a placeholder. So when we got married, when me and Miss Rosanna got married, we had people who were placeholders. You know what a placeholder is?
Yeah, just a fill up space.
Oh, okay. Come here. When he arrives, guess who sits there? The person who was for a placeholder. Somebody who just occupies the space until the person is ready to walk in there and take a seat. Placeholder. Some of us in here are placeholders. Because of your disobedience, God said, okay, cool. She don't listen. He won't listen. So cool, I'm going to find somebody else. And I'm going to let them look like they got it, but they really don't. And the moment the person who I've prepared and matured to sit there is ready, I'm going to tell them to get up, and I'm going to let them sit there. All because how I see me, trying to do things my way, and me not being obedient. Partial obedience. And God says, how long are you going to live like this? You know what my biggest fear is? My biggest fear is that in this room, there should be people who are already CEOs. But you missed it. You missed it because you erased yourself. You disqualified yourself from where God was taking you because of your behavior. So you ask me, so what happens now? So that means I have no purpose? No, you have one. And I really believe that because we serve a God who's a forgiving God, we have the opportunity to put ourselves back in the place, not where we would have been, but where we should have been. What does that look like? I've got to come to God and say, God, I've messed up. I got to come to God and say, God, I'm wrong. I've done some things, said some things, behaved in some ways that I shouldn't have. And I believe God is a forgiving God, that He forgives us of all the things we've done wrong. And now I believe that there are consequences for every decision we make, and you might have lost this spot. But I believe God gives us an opportunity to make it up and gives us another place. The question is, will you be obedient? Will you let God do it? Will you see yourself as being worthy? You chose it. God picked you. God picked you. Every person in this room has been picked for something. The question is, are you going to walk in the area in which you've been picked for? Check it. I was walking with my son. I gave my son, I was fixing my son food. I don't know where we were, but might have been at home. I fixed his plate and I told dude, I said, dude, let me carry your plate. He says, no, Daddy, I got it. I said, son, you can't carry that plate. He says, I got it, Daddy. And so in him carrying the plate, he tripped. Now watch this. Two things happened. He wasted the food and he broke the plate. How many plates are you breaking? How many, not a physical plate, but a metaphoric plate. How many plates are you breaking in your life? Opportunities that are yours to enjoy. My baby loved Chick-fil-A. I think it was Chick-fil-A on the plate. Dropped all his Chick-fil-A. And now watch this. You can't pick up. You can't, once it's dropped. Now ain't no 5-second rule. You nasty. Who said that? You're nasty. And now I know I will never eat any of your food. No, you dead serious. There ain't no way. Dropped it. Shattered the plate and wasted the food. What am I saying? I'm simply saying to you, failure to be obedient to the Father could cause you to shatter some plates. Lord, I thank you. And my prayer is for every student in this room, that God, they would see themselves the way you see them. That God, they would stop trying to do stuff their way. God, that they would operate with complete obedience and not partial obedience. God, my prayer is that they understand who they are and whose they are in your sight. And God, that they would live that out. God, in this room are the next greatest, latest geniuses. God, right now, my prayer is that each and every one of them would know their purpose and their identity. Each and every one of them would understand that they're chosen, that they've been handpicked by the Father. God, despite what society says and what society thinks, they've been chosen. So we give your name the glory and all the honor. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Anybody have any questions?